Good morning, party people. Rise and shine. Yes, I am still here in what Willie Gilly calls the happiest place on earth. Unfortunately, I have some, I guess I'd say, sad news to share with you guys today. Yesterday morning, Diane asked to go to the hospital, which on the holidays, that's the emergency room here in Las Vegas. Upon arrival to the hospital, we waited, like you do there. And when a doctor finally came out and got me and talked with me, he said that he hadn't seen anybody in Diane's condition in 20 years. Many of you know that I've mentioned that I'm Diane's caregiver. She's had a terminal illness for over 12 years, about 12 and a half years. Back in November of 2009, Diane got sick because of a procedure that a doctor did, and her own, I guess, style of living collided, and that sent her to the hospital. I took her there. She really didn't even know that she was in bad shape. Upon arrival to the hospital there, it took them 3 days to figure out what was wrong with her because of this illness that a lot of people never make it to the hospital with. And at that time, they told me to leave her in the hospital and walk away, bring her some things from home, and just live my life the way I wanted to live it, because people with that condition rarely live beyond 4 weeks in life expectancy, 4 to 6 weeks. Well, I chose to do things a different way. They did their best, and I always tell people, do your best. So in this life, I do my best and let God do the rest. So I took her home and did my best to take care of her, and here we are, thankfully, happily, 12 and a half years later. So what the doctors said was a 4-week, maybe 6-week life expectancy, I'm 12 and a half years later. Man, thrilled to have been able to share 12 more years with my wife, Diane, the love of my life. So, hey, I am happy and blessed that I got all that time, more than they expected. Here we are again. Whew, they don't have a real good report, but thankfully she is in a good place, a medical facility that's giving her the best care that they can. I believe that here in the Las Vegas area. So I'm getting ready to head back over there. Unfortunately, man, I don't know what to expect yet out of the care that they give her, and then the follow-up or extended care that I can give her, providing that we make it out of here fine, which, life will be a little different, but you just, like I said, do your best. So what I'm hoping for is, well, first of all, I'm going to apologize to the people in this travel trip that's downstream here. I probably not going to make it. Now, I'm sad to say I'm not going to make it. Not within the next couple of weeks from the way things are. Hopefully later today, the doctors will give me their best assessment of where we are with Diane's health, and we'll go from there. But probably not going to make it to any more stops out west here. What I hope happens is that they help Diane get well enough to travel back to the Cincinnati area, where Diane can spend some time with Elizabeth. Talked to Elizabeth last night. Elizabeth is prepared to come out here if the doctors recommend she does that. I'm really hoping that they can help Diane get to the position where I can get her back to Cincinnati and to a medical facility there so she can spend some more time with Elizabeth, whatnot. And then they will do their best, discharge her to home, and with our help, my help, Elizabeth's help, whoever can help Diane, she be with us even longer. Like I said, we do our best, let God do the rest. So that's where I'm at. So yesterday when we got to the hospital and was there a little bit, Diane apologized for interrupting the travel plans that I have. So she sends her apologies for me not being able to make it in this immediate future to help you with your vehicle situation needs, fixing your car, whatnot. I apologize for everybody that's downstream here that's got their parts and are, patiently awaiting my visit. Probably not going to make it within the next few weeks. So hopefully things will go better than expected. I'll get Diane back to Cincinnati. I hope I don't have to drive her there. That she is not comfortable. Hopefully we can fly back and I'll leave my junk here, and after she gets settled and stable, I can fly back here, pick up my stuff, possibly help a couple of people with brief needs, and then get on back into the Cincinnati area to help Diane with whatever she needs help with. The most important thing, I talked to a young lady the other day, there's two things that are extremely important in life. Number one is your relationship with your loved ones and those close to you, close family members. Number two, your health, and then extended people in your life, friends. I'm very fortunate with doing this YouTube thing over the past several years, man. I've gotten some people that really are great friends, treat me great. Like even here, I'm in this position where we are far away from home. Diane is in a critical care unit in the hospital, and the guy that I met through YouTube here, Willie Gilly, man, he's closer to me than my brothers. And he told me, he said, man, get out of that hotel. I got a bedroom here. Stay here as long as you need to until you need to go, so you're not dumping money in the hotel like I am right now. So I mean, I'm real fortunate. And that was one of the reasons why I kept traveling. Man, there are people like Willie Gilly around this country that, man, they will and have treated me very well and will help me any way they can. So I didn't have a fear of being out here like this and having something this tragic happen and not have support. The first time Diane got sick with her terminal illness 12 and a half years ago, man, had it not been for my close friends and support of the people that I went to church with, man, I don't think I would have made it, let alone Diane. So that's where I'm at. I will try to update you guys when I can figure out when I'll be able to travel some more. But if you are someone that prays and believe God helps us, man, do pray, especially for Diane. Talked to the nurse yesterday. She said it's a good thing Diane decided to come to the hospital, because these next few days will be probably a couple of the toughest days Diane will ever have in her life. And without medical assistance through these next 2 days. And they're still going to be. And if she makes it through these next 2 days, which I believe she will, man, they think she's going to wish she wasn't alive. It's going to be so tough for her these next few days. So please pray that God comforts her. She's going to need more than my comfort. She's going to need God's comfort through these next few days, and that these people at this medical facility will do their best to treat her in a kind way and help her as best they could medically, so that we can get back to the Cincinnati area where Diane can spend some time with Elizabeth and maybe other loved ones there. And this thing will be something that we all make it through and be able to enjoy several more years of life together. So that's where I'm at. I hope you guys enjoy today's video clips, and I appreciate your support and your prayers. So thanks for watching. Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert. That's me. This video contains things that I encounter throughout the day. If for some reason I complete a task and you would like to see the details, you can click on the link in the description area below. This video also contains tips and tricks that I learned throughout the years. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. Thank you very much for watching. Kicking off the Tinker Day. Back to this 95 Emerald Green 850. Subject of the area. Draining the coolant. Looks like it's got Volvo coolant in there. And I'm getting ready to pull all this timing belt stuff, which doesn't look old, but it is aftermarket stuff. Cam seal looks wet. I'm probably going to end up replacing those because it looks like somebody put aftermarket cam seals in there maybe. And get this thing back up and cranking. So one of these bolts on the tensioner was loose. I don't remember loosening that the other day. And of course, I think we mentioned last time that he had new oil cooler lines put on. And look how wet that oil cooler is. So definitely leaking out of the line connection. We're going to block that off. So let me get going, get this stuff off, and move on to the next subject of this rebuild, which is going to be replacing the struts. Waiting on those to come in shipping. Definitely got a cam seal leak here. A lot of wet stuff in here, like behind this idler. The tip of that's wet. Now I don't know if I broke these loose the other day, but all these bolts are finger tight on here. I'm assuming I broke those loose the other day. Then the water pump bolts wasn't very tight, and you see the oil down there. So getting ready to pull the water pump. The coolant drained. It's got some cloudiness in it for some reason. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Not sure what that's about, but you know, we are in California. Anything can happen. I got a telephone call yesterday from a guy in Pennsylvania. He said that the skies out here have been real hazy, where you can't even see the blue skies. Then he went on to tell me that somebody spotted a UFO out here that was hovering over the city, misting something down onto the earth. They're not sure what they're trying to accomplish with doing that, but he suggested I get out of California as quick as I can. You know, so I don't get whatever it is that these aliens are spraying down on the planet. He said they're cloaking it. They're cloaking themselves so people can't see them. And something happened to their cloaking device, and somebody got a glimpse of the ship. He said it was a 1/4 mile long. Thing was so big. But anyway, I got to be aware of that. Watch my back. If I disappear in a day or two, you guys can imagine that it's probably some kind of alien abduction. So let me get this coolant poured off to the side, because I also need to pull these oil cooler lines and get that stuff caught in the pan. So I got this bottle here. I'm going to put coolant in, and I got a couple more water bottles if I need some more space to put this coolant. I must say, I'm a little confused about what's going on with these water pump bolts. Look like they got oil on them. I see some more lizard goop. I don't know, man. This is strange. But anyway, I got all the bolts out of that water pump, and of course it's got the black killer gasket on there. But I've learned one thing. If the people that installed this water pump with that black gasket also used gasket maker with the seal, it'll probably come off the engine pretty easy. Some people put a thin layer of gasket maker around this gasket before they put it on the engine. And man, it comes off really quick. Almost as quick as the Volvo gasket does with no sealant on there. So let's hope they did that. I got the drip pan under there. Hopefully I'll catch any coolant that comes out of there, and let's break this loose. Looks like I may have dodged another bullet. I think they used a little gasket maker on that thing. Most of it came off of the engine. Hallelujah. So I don't have too much to clean up and go back on with the Volvo stuff. Yes. So I'm gonna take the rest of that. See how clean that looks when there's coolant and not water only? That thing looks spotless, and it looks like Volvo coolant. But anyway, let me dry this up a little bit and save the rest of that coolant out of that drip pan, and then take this oil cooler off because he wants to go ahead and delete that. So let me grab an oil cooler block off. And that was the brand water pump that was put on it. Hepu. I think I got most of it cleaned off. Ready for the wire brush. And put this water pump on. A little bit more gasket right there on top. This thing looks pretty rough, the surface, but it's smooth, surprisingly. So let me try to get that little piece of gasket there off and then wire brush it and go back on. And here it is, about as clean as I could get that surface. Run my fingers around there, it feels very, very smooth. Looks like a little piece of gasket I need to get off right there. And everything else has been wire brushed. Pretty clean and smooth. So let me get that little piece off down there and put this water pump on. Pull these cam sprockets off and replace those cam seals. Got it all off with the wire brush. Let's keep it moving. Yep, this was a Volvo cam seal. I don't know if you can see it there if it decides to come in focus. But just a real old Volvo cam seal. Oh, it almost came in focus there. There it is. Just time for that thing to leak. Since I'm replacing this one and I got them both off, I'm going to replace both brand new Volvo cam seals. No reason to be this far and not do both for 5 minutes and $25. Here we go, boy. The new seals and the seal tool. Whoop, whoop. I backed out the bolt on the AC compressor bracket so I could get the 10 millimeter out of these oil lines, and guess what? They couldn't get the 10 millimeter back in there, so it's not even in there. So let me take these lines out of the radiator and snake them out of here. Since I already got that off of there, I can unplug those lines there. Well, look at there. It looks like the bolt's in there. It's just loose. So let me get it the rest of the way out. Now I know why the lines weren't tight. That's an improper bolt in the hole. So I'm going to take that out and discard it. Here's another trick for timing belt jobs. I don't know if you guys know it or not. I've mentioned it before. But a lot of times when you're trying to run the timing belt over the cam, it keeps hopping under the crank. So if you take a vacuum line and run it between that little nub there and the timing belt, it'll stop that belt from hopping the crank and causing you slack while you're trying to get that belt installed. So it's just another tip for you. Sometimes you could probably put a screwdriver under there, anything, but you get something under there so that that belt won't hop. I got everything in and torqued down. I got the timing on the marks there and there. Cranks on the mark. I'm gonna pull a hand grenade pin, roll it over a couple times to make sure I have my mark still lined up, and then I'll pull the plugs and do this tune-up. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the plugs now since that'll make it easier to roll the engine over. Got all the wires out from off top of the spark plugs. That's what you get a lot of times with these aftermarket wires. They come apart. I got a couple tips there. It's just not worth the hassle. Well, the owner made a good call on it being time to replace these plugs, man. Those things look pretty bad. I didn't check the gap on them, but I'm going to keep pressing forward. Roll the crank around a couple of times and everything seems good. Timing marks are on. I'm going to go ahead and tighten up these camshaft sprocket bolts. They seem to have been a little loose when I started. Make sure everything else is tight. Put that clip down in the timing belt. Go find something to eat for lunch. Just got back from lunch. Time to get back at it and get to work. I'm gonna pull this strut out of here next. I went to the parts store, got spring compressors, got lunch, and I bought another box of gloves. I don't know where the other box of gloves is that I purchased, but they may be in the car somewhere, or they're just gone. So I got another set. These ones are powdered. Maybe I'll like those better. Anyway, you remember I got the timing stuff set right. I got a tune-up to do, a rip kit to install, and struts to replace. So since I got this up in the air and I'm over here, I'm gonna go ahead and pull these struts and tear them down, and when I get the parts I'll put them back together. Hopefully I can find my impact gun. Let me see if I can find that, and hopefully it's charged up. Here's the intake charge piping coming off the turbo. This comes out of the intercooler up top, goes over and into the throttle body, and you see how torn up that thing is? That's very common. You got to reach your hand down under there to feel that's torn up. That'll lose a lot of boost pressure if the clamp is not holding it closed, and could cause it to idle a little funny, but most importantly you'll lose boost. May cause it to run rich as well. So be aware of those tubings going bad. We got evidence of a cam seal leak right there. Definitely aftermarket seal there. So I'm gonna check this one back here, see if it's leaking worse, because we got a lot of oil down under this car. It's either these cam seals or the rear main seal leaking. So let me pull this cam sensor off, see if that's leaking worse than this. I don't even have any more of these seals. I used the last one 2 days ago. Torque mount totally torn out. How about this? Bam! He got him. Slovakia. Not sure how, but my boost boxes ran down to 7%. That may be a problem, because my phone is down to 12%. Sad to say, a lot of people see this bushing here torn totally out, but they missed the firewall bushing back there totally torn out. So this needs to be replaced as well. Going back on with the IPD wires. I have these on Queen Bee. Let's get them on. Whoever installed those wires didn't put the plastic guide back on them that holds them in the cylinder head properly, so we got to go back without that. 4:45, just received my package. Should be struts and related parts. Man, this lower hose connection down here on this rib kit is tough. Finally got that in, so I'm ready to start working on my struts, because all I got to do is put my OTE pipe on, but I can't put my distributor on because I got cam seals to do in the morning. So let me rip this strut out, start on this one strut, and get ready to put this OTE pipe on. I guess I could do that now and keep moving forward. Having a real hard time getting coolant to go in the coolant reservoir, so I'm going to take this hose loose here. My guess is it has an improper thermostat in there. It doesn't have the jiggle pin, but let me take this hose off, see if that helps me get coolant in this vehicle. I've only got a half a gallon in, and I need to get another gallon in here. Well, it actually looks like it's got a Volvo thermostat in there. That is obviously broken. You see that arm lifted up off the thermostat? So this thermostat needs to be replaced. Hey, that's a strut mount blown away with the bump stop. The shocks look like they've been replaced, but they're making noise, so they're old enough to replace again. So I got that one rebuilt, ready to go in first thing in the morning. Then I got a rock and roll on this side. And I was trying to show you guys the thermostat, but heck, that seemed to disappear. I don't know what happened to that. There it is. Busted.
If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.